There are two things that you can do to a gun that will almost always make a dramatic improvement. They are grips and optics. Now, this is a Hogue grip on this Glock. This is a first-gen Glock, so there are no finger grooves on this. It makes a dramatic difference how this Glock feels in my hand. A lot of people that I let shoot my guns complain, well, the most common complaint with Glocks anyway is, well, they don't fit my hand. And usually what I say to that is, well, you need to get better hands. Or, actually what would be probably more practical, is to get this Hogue grip. Truth of the matter is, this is a very inexpensive product for what it does. Many Hogue grips are around $20 to $25, and they make the experience of holding and aiming a gun much, much more positive. The reason why I say optics and grips are so important is because they are the interface between you and the gun. That is where you grip the gun is your interface for how you hold it, and the optic is how you aim and view the target with the gun and line up the gun barrel with the object you're shooting at. So grips and optics are probably two of the most important things that you can do to improve any gun. That's for a pistol. That is a Glock grip you can put on a pistol. This is the Hogue AK-47 grip. I have one of these on pretty much every AK I've got. This is a Sega 12 gauge, and it just makes shooting this gun amazingly more comfortable and better. I don't need the grip desperately. I mean, a normal grip works fine, but as cheap as this is, it just makes it that much better. So, you know, I'm not really focusing mainly on grips in this video. This is mostly going to be focused on optics. Now, one of the best things you can do for a pistol is night sights. If you're going to carry this gun for a self-defense weapon, concealed carry, night sights is one of the best things you can do. Now, you can't tell in this video, but these are night sights. And what they are is it's tritium. Inside of each of these little white dots is a tiny little window. And what you're looking at, that you can't really tell right now because it's not dark enough, in each of those little windows there is a tiny vial, smaller than a grain of rice. And that vial is filled with a gas. And that gas is radioactive and it glows. Now, you could bury this gun in the ground for 10 years and dig it up and it will still be glowing. It's not, you know, glow-in-the-dark paint like you'd get from, you know, something that absorbs light and then glows for a little while afterwards. This is actually a gas that glows on its own no matter what it's exposed to and what conditions it's in. The half-life of tritium is about 12 years. So if the sights are 12 years old, they'll glow approximately half as brightly as they did when they were brand new. I've seen some sights that were nearly that old before, and I didn't notice that they looked that dim. I don't think they really diminish as rapidly as people think. But using tritium for sights is a fairly new technology, and I'm not sure that they know exactly how long this stuff will last. And if you're worried about radioactivity, don't worry. These things do not put out enough radiation to do any harm whatsoever to your body. You will not get cancer from carrying a gun with radioactive tritium sights in it. Another thing that you can do that's fairly simple actually is, you can't really see it here, but fiber optics. This is a plastic tube that basically takes the ambient light and channels it into the end, making a really bright optic that you can pick up in bright daylight. It attracts the eye much better than just a shiny brass ball or something like that. Here's some green. Green is one of the best colors of fiber optic to use because the eye seems to pick up green and it reflects the most light. On shotguns, pistols, things like that, fiber optics are really good and I would highly recommend them. So back to the Sega. If you want to go up a little bit more and get a holographic sight, a red dot sight, Sightmark is a phenomenal company. I really like their products. I think for the money that they charge, they provide an absolutely incredible product. They're pretty rugged. They're not the most rugged, but for the money, they are extremely rugged. This particular unit, you push a button on the side, and that activates the sight. You have a variety of different reticles you can choose from a tiny little pin dot, crosshairs, bullseye, whatever you like, you can get. Now this sight has a metal housing, a shroud around it, so it is a little bit more durable for that reason. It protects the lens and the fragile part of it. It zeroes really well when you remove it from the rail. There's a quick release lever right here. For the money, this is a fantastic sight, and you will not go wrong. It also has brightness settings. You hold the button down for 3 seconds and it turns off. The only downside to a sight like this, and some of the less expensive red dots are this way, is they take a battery that costs a little bit more, isn't quite as common, like a button battery, a watch battery, and you don't get as much hours of runtime on that kind of a battery either. So it costs more to operate. As long as you remember to turn it off, you're not going to have a problem with that kind of a sight, and it's an excellent sight. Now this sight is one of the best things I've ever seen going. This is something I picked up at a gun show, and I am so blown away by the value here. I can't believe it. In one unit you have a red dot sight, a bright flashlight, and a laser. And this sight costs very little compared to what you would expect. So the way it works is you simply turn the top to turn it on. And you have different brightness settings as you go around. You can see that's getting dimmer and back to bright again. And go back to bright. So that's the red dot. There's the laser. Now see, I'm not far enough away from this floor for these to co-witness. The flashlight is over here. I'm going to turn that off because that's a little bit too bright. So I'll shine this across the room where these, the dot and the laser co-witness. Now that's together. Both of those things are laying on top of each other. As you get closer, you can see that the fact that one is just up and to the left of the other means that they don't co-witness as good. See? But as you get further away, they will join together. And that's about where they're sighted for. That's about 15 feet away. So this is an absolutely phenomenal sight. I've never seen this company before, but apparently it's called Vism or Vism. It's a billet aluminum housing, and all of it's together in one unit. And each of the different units on here takes its own battery. So if you run one out of battery, then you don't lose the others. This unit cost me about $125, and it's well worth it. If you think about buying a light, laser, and optic all in one, you are going to be paying way more than that. Okay, one of the ruggedest bad boys out there, used by Navy SEALs and Special Forces all over the place, is the Eotech. The Eotech sights are really good in that they're incredibly rugged. They use a very common AA battery. That's why this big pack is out here on the front. It's very easy to change the battery. They get a lot of run time. You can get about 30 days of run time if you leave this on continuously. And the way it works is you have your different settings for brightness and so forth, and you can turn it on and off right here. Now I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to aim it over into the dark so you can see that reticle better. And there it is. So the window is big. You don't want a red dot with a tiny little window on it. You want a pretty big window. You want to be able to see what you're looking at without a lot blocking your view. And the Eotech is a fantastic sight. It's fairly expensive. They generally cost people about $500 for a unit like this. But it's going to last a really long time, and it's extremely rugged. But probably the best thing of all in optics has got to be, hands down, the Acog. The Acog is military tested in some of the worst situations in the world. It is rugged, and the clarity is incredible. This does not use any batteries. This will work at a moment's notice. You grab it, it's always working because it does not rely on batteries. It has a fiber optic filament in the top that collects the light from all around, and it funnels it into the unit, and that little dot that you see right there is the reticle. Now, even in absolute darkness, because this has tritium, it has that dot working, and you never need to turn it on. It's just always working. The nice thing about this is there is a little bit of magnification, just a 2x magnification is all, but it makes close up and far away much better. It's a small unit, it's very lightweight, but it is a fantastic sight. It also allows you to use the peep sights, which are located underneath. This optic is the most expensive of all, and you get what you pay for. To get something like this, you're looking at probably $600 or $700. But the resale on these is incredible. People have had these for 10 years. You can probably sell them for more than they paid for them. So, in sights, there's a lot of choices out there, and it can make your shooting experience much, much better. So, do a little research and have a little fun upgrading your rifle, because sights and grips make a big difference. This is Max Headspace 9mm. Have a good one.